Nina Perez, and this is Straight Talk, no sugar added. Thank you so much for watching. This show is created to discuss life topics and hopefully challenge and transform your thinking. So today I have a very special guest with me, and her name is Dr. Jackie Phillips, and she is a writing coach, an author, and an international motivational speaker. She is the founder of Life Changers Institute, a company that empowers individuals to use writing as a tool to stimulate healing and create impact from their stories. Her two signature programs are the My Story Academy and the Dream Big Academy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So excited that you came in with us today, Dr.
you.
Jackie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
I've been wanting to have you
Isn't
here.
it? I'm
emailing you
excited,
several
too.
times. I'm like, I want her here.
Thanks to Mio.
it's nice to meet you too.
Nice meeting you.
I was fortunate to read the I Am My Story, Our Voices book that
Thank
you
you.
had. It
Thank
was
you.
so impactful.
Yes.
So I had to make sure that I reached out. So I'm glad you're
Awesome.
here.
Thank you. Thank you. Want to acknowledge Mio Santiago for making that connection.
Yes, Mio is amazing. She's
Yes.
an amazing young woman. I love her.
Yes.
So every time somebody comes here, the first thing I do is I put you in the hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a little bit hot right now. You're in the hot seat, and I just want to know a little bit about yourself. So I like to let our audience know who you are, a little bit about you, anything you want to share.
Okay, a little bit about me. Who am I? Originally, I'm from the island of St. Lucia in the Caribbean. Came to this country over, 30-something years ago in search of higher education. And so I've been on a journey of higher education. Actually, worked in administration in higher education, got my doctorate, and I'm an educator.
Okay.
And so I still teach as an adjunct faculty, but there was a shift in my employment in terms of there's a climate shift, and then I got phased out of my position.
Oh, okay.
And then I asked God, what are you doing? I'd just gotten my doctorate. What's next for me?
Right. I mean, that's a big achievement.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the goal was always for me to be a president of a college. And so I've been on this journey. And during the phasing out period, one of the instrumental things that happened, I say that all the time, I was asking for, because I was still employed for a 3-year period while I was being phased out. Mm-hmm. I asked for a business card with Dr. Jackie on it. That card never materialized. And the Spirit said, you know what, Jacqueline? You have what it takes.
Right.
Do it. And so that's when I got a business coach. And then I said, you know what? I'm starting my own company, Life Changers. I've always been motivating and empowering individuals. I've always been intrigued by how the brain and mind works.
Right.
And so I've been on this journey for almost 5 years. And going through the journey, it's amazing. I've been able to develop an institute where I am the president of the institute now.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, good.
And it's a learning institute
Right.
whereby I really empower individuals to use writing as a tool to heal and create impact.
Right.
So individuals would ask me, are you a publisher? I say, as a byproduct of this process, I create a curriculum.
Right.
And I have come up with the transformative framework, and I could talk a little bit about that later, where I use across all my programs to really empower my clients and my students to push forward through their transformation.
Wow, that's really powerful. And you were an educator for how long?
I'm still an educator. I teach as an adjunct.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So occasionally I would teach either at Central or at Post University. I taught last semester.
Okay.
So this semester I'm actually spending 100% in the business to start all the new feature, which is the Life Changer Center.
Right. Wow.
So it's really exciting.
It's like something you were wanting but didn't see exactly how this would come about.
Yes.
That's so exciting.
Yes, yes.
So I know that, and you spoke a little bit about it, that a big part of Life Changers is helping people write their stories.
Yes.
And that's very impactful because all of us connect through a story, right? I mean, you can always speak into someone's life because they connect with you in some area.
Yes.
So what's your story? Like, what made you think that stories could be impactful? What made you want to do something like that?
So how it started, and it's part of your prior question, how it started is that after I got the business coach, I looked at my life, and I didn't bring the first book. It's called The Purpose Factor. And I looked at what is a life of greatness? And a life of greatness, for me, I've come up with 4 principles, and which are now embedded in my transformative framework. So I'll talk about what really drove me into starting this journey. So there are 4 principles into living a life of greatness. What's in your hands? And so that's the first principle, understanding who you are. So once you understand who you are, you understand your story, the power of your story and the significance of your story. The second one is understanding your gifts, your skills, and your abilities. And once you understand that, and your strengths and your weaknesses. So once you understand that, that's number 1. And the goal is continuous advancement.
Okay.
Second principle, moving into a state of love, not fear. We came into this world as a blank slate, purely full of love.
Right.
Something fell down in the room, we got startled. And that's how fear creeps into our lives. So many of the decisions we make is made out of fear. So we need to move and force ourselves to make decisions out of love. How do we navigate relationships?
Right.
So asking ourselves, what would love do? The third principle is connecting to a source, your higher power, whether it's your spirit. Find ways to cut and zone out from the noise around and listen to that spirit, listen to that drumbeat inside of you. And that's that fuels you. And once you're able to do that, then you're able to work in alignment to your divine purpose.
Right.
And the fourth principle is knowing that we are on this earth to serve. So once you're able to engage in that intentionally, it's going to bring you to the higher quadrant of your life.
Right.
And so why write your story? To answer that question. So one of the things I do with my clients is that I've come up with the transformative framework. And the transformative framework, you'll see a version, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. In phase 3, I am my story. I was able to put all the pieces together. So the first one, we talked about the 4 principles of greatness. In the second book, we talk about the power of the valley. That's the lower quadrant. Okay. The lower quadrant of our lives is of the transformative framework is going through the pit. First stage, impact.
Right.
What I'm able to do with my clients, I'm able to go back down into that trauma. Let's talk about your milestones and your development through the different stages of transformation. And by taking them back in and helping them see exactly, tell me a little bit about the impact. What happened? The second stage is emotional paralysis. Let's talk a little bit about that. How long were you in that pit for? What was that pit like?
Right.
The third stage, a shift happens. And when that shift happens, what was that shift that caused you to say, I'm choosing life? And that's when you move into a stage of breakthrough. In the stage of breakthrough, that's when you use strategies. What strategies did you use? So once you're able to come out of the stage of breakthrough, you're right back to where you started before the impact. But in order to move into the higher realm of life, which is the upper quadrant, you need to engage in those 4 principles.
Right.
Understanding who you are.
Right.
So that's when you become intentional. And those 4 principles I talked to. Then once you're able to activate yourself and move into that higher realm, then we talk about living a life of wholeness, moving into a stage of forgiveness, moving in a stage of releasing, moving into a stage of breaking those shackles. And then you realize, I understand why I went through that.
Right.
And that's the reason why they write. Because they realize that their story is aligned to their mission. There's an alignment.
Isn't that true? Yeah.
And then you move into the stage of harvest, which what happens?
You can receive more.
You could receive more,
Yeah.
but you also, I didn't talk about what happens at the stage of impact. The seed of greatness is implanted in you.
Right.
And that seed grows through that entire process. And the stage of harvest is when that seed multiplies, and then you're able to spread that to other people.
Right. Wow, that's impactful.
So that's the transformation everyone goes through. And then we talk about impact.
Right. Right. And you know, what's powerful about all that you're saying too is that it's not just a process of here's a piece of paper, write.
Exactly.
You know, but
exactly.
it's also cathartic because you're also putting them through a process of having to look at it, to deal with it, to move forward from it. So you're a life coach too.
I am, yes, and that's my
you're
first.
a writing coach, a life coach.
Well, my master's and my undergrad is psychology.
Oh,
I have a master's in clinical psychology.
I was gonna ask that.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that
it
makes
just
sense.
so when the people ask, someone comes to me, they want to write a story. You could send your book to anybody
Yeah.
to write a story.
Yeah.
But I take you through a healing and transformative process.
Right. So it's a process.
And
Right.
so that's why I have an institute and we have a curriculum.
Right. Right. Right.
And that's the curriculum.
Right. And the institute, is that a brick and mortar? Is that a location or?
It's a combination of both now.
Okay.
So with the Life Changer Center, I have a brick and mortar, and online as well.
Oh, online
I'm
as
actually
well.
doing online courses and developing that platform as well.
Right.
Yes,
And
I'm
that's
excited.
a lot of work for one person. I hope you have a team.
So I finally reached to the point.
That's a lot of people.
I have finally reached the point. I mean, it's been a process. I've heard it, and then I'm actually saying it's a matter of releasing and saying
Yeah.
I am open. So I am looking for help right now.
Yeah,
I'm looking
yeah.
for. Well, no. Let's take that step back. So I do have editors.
Okay.
I do have a team of editors, publishers, designers, all of that. I work with other people in terms of that. But in the other aspects, yes,
Right.
I am open and I'm looking for help. So
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, well, because you need it. I mean, at some point you grow to the point where, I mean, that's the whole point of growth, right?
Yes, and I'm there.
Yeah, yeah, that's great though to be
Yes,
there. I mean, it's a
yes.
good sign. That means you're doing
Yes,
something
yes,
right.
yes,
And that
yes.
means that the lives that you're impacting, whether it's through the stories that the women have written or the people who have read the stories,
Yes.
you know, they're looking at it going, wait a minute, I can do
Yes.
this too, right?
Yes,
Or I have
yes.
a story too.
Yes.
I'm sure that has probably transpired,
Yes.
you know.
Yes, from
you know?
from the chapter to the books. Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
yes, yes.
So are the books mainly written like one chapter per person, or does somebody have more than one chapter in there if they've gone through multiple traumas, or how do you?
It's all about. We talk on an individual basis. There's a lot of life coaching that goes through that
Yes,
process.
a lot, yes.
And
And you have multiple women, so that's multiple life
yeah,
coaching.
we have some men as well too.
Oh, men as well.
Yes,
Great.
yes. So in the institute, men are part of the process.
Good.
In the I Am My Story movement, the inner circle is an inner circle for women. It's a sisterhood.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that some other
Yeah,
time.
that's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but you have men that also go through your program.
Yes, definitely.
That's
So in I'll call it season 2.
Yeah.
In season 2, The Power of the Valley. They were also in season 1 as well too. You know what?
Soaring.
I'm saying season because you know what I'm putting it out there because we're actually going to have a documentary coming
Okay.
out.
Good.
So we had about 1, 2, 3, 4 men,
Oh wow, that's wonderful.
and in this one we had 1, 2, 3 men, 4. So in this one, the women dominated.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed.
And that what shifted, there was a shift in this win. And I did something different too in season 3. I love this season. I think I'm just prophetically saying something great.
I can't wait. That's exciting.
But what happened is that a sisterhood developed. And there was a different energy, and I think I approached it differently. But it was a sign of growth too. And based on that energy and that sisterhood, what I was able to do, I was really able to cultivate a community. In the others, especially my first and second season, it was just, okay, let's get your stories and developing. So now, as we approach maybe season 4 or 5 and 6, it is shifting. And that's where the I Am My Story movement is giving birth to.
Right.
Whereby I am opening the doors now to other women. Not everybody is ready to write, but everybody is ready to heal.
Right. Oh, that's good.
And so in the movement, it's a membership organization. And in the movement, it's an opportunity where once a month we go through a monthly mastermind. But the goal is to really have accountability and support, and where we're transforming our stories into a mission.
Right.
So let's develop a strategic plan for the year.
Right.
It could be going back to school. It could be starting a business. But having that accountability and the sisters with you, it's powerful. It's also incorporated with a prayer as well. So we've developed a prayer line, and we've developed accountability with sisters.
That's
And so
wonderful.
now I'm opening the doors to as many women as possible.
That's good.
So that's the vision for this year.
It also sounds like it's something you have to be committed to. It sounds like it's not. What I'm gathering is that you're taking this extremely seriously, and that the people that you're choosing to have in your academy and to come through this process with you has to be willing to do the work.
Well, yeah,
Right.
but also too, I'll go back to Sharon. Sharon was one of the authors. She said, we're stepping up into version 2.0 of ourselves.
Right.
So are you ready to step up into the next level of yourselves?
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or do you just want to exist?
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Because we have to now, look at Kobe, how he just died.
Uh-huh.
We have to now decide that we want to live our best lives now.
Right.
Tomorrow is not promised.
Right.
What is the legacy that you're leaving behind? Or are you going to let your trauma and your baggage carry you and burden you?
Exactly. I speak
And
the same
drag
way.
around for the rest of your lives? Let's address
too
it.
heavy.
Let's try to break some of that.
Yeah.
And that's why, I guess in the second half, we'll talk about the youth. And that's the reason why I started working for young people now.
Right.
Let's talk about the greatness. Let's start developing the core. Because some of the traumas that many people experience happen in the youth,
Yeah.
in the younger stages. So let's build them up now.
Right. And most of us wait until we're way in our 30s, 40s, 50s,
Exactly.
70s to deal with things that have happened in our youth.
Yes.
So, what you're doing, I think, is super important. I mean, I know you said I was reading your website, and it talks about that you're called the Midwife of Purpose. And I kind of know what that term means, but I'd like you to elaborate on that a little bit. What Midwife of Purpose?
So, by helping people with their stories, I'm able to then sift through all of that.
Right.
And said, there's an assignment, and what is that assignment? So, perfect example, I always use, there's several women right now in our group that as you go through, I'm able to push them, give them some direction, and bring them closer to their assignments. So by going through the transformative process, I have an anointing and I have a blessing on my life where I'm able to really help individuals understand their calling. And let's develop a strategic plan for that.
Right.
And that's where the accountability comes in and really pushing them through the next level.
So do you let them go to that stage of accountability or purpose? I'm sure all of them look different.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
So I'm sure that, because it's your calling to kind of be able to reach that and see that within them, you also have to learn restraint too,
Oh, yes.
right? So
Oh,
it's like
yes.
this
Oh,
give and
yes.
take type of
Oh,
thing.
definitely.
Like, I know exactly what you should be doing, but we'll go through the process,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that has to
definitely.
be a little bit of a
Definitely.
challenge,
Yes.
right?
Definitely.
And hoping that they step up into their greatness, into who they are
Exactly.
meant to be,
Yes.
right?
And so it's a pull-push process.
Yes.
But I'm able to recognize it. But I'm also like a couple of young ladies in the group. If I could just go through some of them for you. In terms of this young lady, her story was about her mother committed suicide. And so now we're developing her platform now. So that's what happens in the end now. Let's develop a platform to share your story. It could be a blog. It could be photography. It could be whatever the case where you're able to share your story through some means. So she's in the process where she's encouraging people who are thinking about suicide to choose life.
Wow.
This, which one? This woman has just developed, she's been our prayer leader on the prayer line. And I said, listen, you need to do a blog. You need to do a podcast, and she writes prayers. We need to get your story. We need to get that out there.
Right.
So it's developing that confidence. What happens is that sometimes the trauma and the mess buries you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happens once we start moving some of the mess, the greatness is already inside of you.
Right.
And so it's a matter of some of those skills, because even when some of those skills started appearing, gifts started appearing within me, I was like, okay, Lord, what are you doing?
Yeah. What am I doing with this?
So I'm able to help individuals when some of those gifts are emerging. Let's see how we can do it.
Right.
But it's a lot of mindset shifts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of work that has to get done.
Yes.
There's a lot of work
Yes.
that has to get done. I wanted to talk to you about the Life Changers, right? And the My Story Academy, because you talked a little bit about the levels.
Yes.
So the program is designed to empower women to write, as you said, to heal, to publish, to create impact in their stories.
Yes.
And you said there's 4 levels to the I Am My Story Academy.
Yes.
And so I'd like to touch a little bit on that. So I know that level 1, from what I see in your brochure here, is writing a chapter.
Yes.
So
level 1 is the anthology.
Okay.
So many people will come in and very timidly, I have a story. So let's talk about it. And that's where they go through that transformative process.
Okay.
And some of the first stages we go through that process is we go through a lot of healing. Let's write some forgiveness letters. Let's talk about the traumas. Let's talk about some releases. I mean, it's just a wonderful process to see them at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, it is just so
Yeah, and I mean, you're really getting in
powerful.
there because, some people would probably think we're going to go write a story
Yeah.
and I'm done. And then they
No,
come to you
no,
and you're
no.
like, and now we're going to start the healing
No,
process.
it's
You're
actually
like,
a 12-month coaching process.
wow. Okay, that's powerful.
It's a 12-month coaching process. That's why when individuals say, are you a publisher?
That's powerful.
No, we actually go through healing, writing, and impact.
Wow.
Because towards the end, you need to start talking about your next.
Right.
Right. So level 2 is individuals who may just want to write their own books. So
Okay.
in my earlier years, individuals would come to me and say, I want to write a book. And I'll never forget that I would just take it because it's all about money. It's no
Right.
longer about money for me now. It's a matter of healing.
Right.
Really moving into my assignment,
Right.
where God wants me to be. And so we wrote the book and everything. Then I realized towards the end that she was never properly healed. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to make those mistakes.
Right.
I mean, that you could send that to anybody. Anybody could always write your story or
Right.
edit your story. But the healing process and exactly what the stage 2 is, what's the impact?
Right.
What are you going to do? So you have to be committed to putting something out there and wanting to create impact.
Right. Oh, that's powerful. Okay, so that's writing your own book.
Yes.
And then level 3 is developing
Your own anthology.
anthology.
And so I need to start marketing more of that. I'm actually working with my third author. This is actually for individuals who want to write their own anthology. So you may have a specific topic, you may have a specific platform already. So you may be doing something with your tribe. And so the way I come in is that I could enhance your community in 2 ways. By really helping your authors, helping your tribe members to be co-authors. So I'm really stepping up your tribe.
Right.
And so you may already have, let's say, we talked about Erica. Erica's theme was the Queen Boss Rise. So her theme and her message and her platform is about exposure, about really taking everything you have in terms of a business and how could you be a queen boss. So every month, she already had a curriculum for her tribe members, and she added another component. So I came in there and I actually helped them with their healing process and also helped them with their writing process. Wow. And in the end, so it's a really nice way to really expand your platform as well.
Yeah.
It may be a topic about anything. Like you were saying, one of the things you were talking about was your project for next year. So it'd be nice to maybe do an anthology of other women.
That's exactly what I'm doing. That's funny. That's why I was like,
How did I figure that out?
How did you figure that out? I don't know. You got more giftings in there than I know of. And
that is so funny. I surprised myself.
What's the lotto numbers normally?
I don't know.
Now let's talk about level 4 quickly. That's developing your platform. Is that kind of ties in a little bit with the anthology,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Not necessarily. So someone who's written a chapter or a book, that could be, they may decide to break it up into 2 stages.
Okay.
So let's talk about what is that platform. And so that happens through a lot of life coaching.
Right. And so do you also, is part of that platform teaching them also how to become public speakers and things like that? Is that part of it?
So I bring in people. I'll bring in a consultant or a speaker or something of that nature. Also we connect to resources as well, because if that's not my area, we'll connect you to the right resources or contract services as well. So, but also the key thing about it too. So the life coaching, I'm a life coach.
Right.
I'm a life coach in regards to individuals may decide, you know what, I'm not ready to write a book. I don't want my story to be out there, but I'm here for you. I'm here for your healing. Right. And so that's where the I Am My Story movement comes in.
Wonderful. That is wonderful. All right, so we're going to take a short break because when we come back, I want to talk to you about the Dream Big Academy.
Yes, the youth.
The youth. That's important,
Yes.
man. And I really want to touch into that. And I want to talk about the books. I actually want to
Yes.
dive into them a little bit. So when we come back, I want to touch all those things. Is that good?
Beautiful.
All right, great. So don't you miss it. You come right back while we keep digging into all of her giftings because she has a lot of them. Don't miss it. Come right back. Hello, this is Nina Perez, and welcome back. We are here with Dr. Jackie Phillips, and we are talking about, well, a lot of things actually. So we were discussing the My Story Academy, and we were talking about different levels of what she does with a lot of life coaching, and also helps people write their books and anthologies and chapters, and they go through a big healing process. And I wanted to bring Dr. Jackie Phillips here because of the important projects that she's doing, but also so that you can have this great information to reach out to such an amazing organization. So thank you again for being
Thank
here.
you. Thank
and
you.
I'm having a lot of fun with you and learning all these amazing giftings you got going on. And I wanted to talk to you. So we talked a little bit about the My Story Academy.
Yes.
And I wanted now to talk to you about the Dream Big Academy.
Yes.
And that is like a signature youth program, right? And it's
Yes.
designed for school and youth programs.
Yes.
And I was also reading about the I Am Girls project,
Yes,
right?
currently happening
it's a
right now.
grant, yeah,
Yes.
grant-funded program.
Yes.
For girls in the Greater Hartford area.
Yes.
And these girls will engage in an 8-workshop session, right? And activities that will focus on the theme of I am making an impact.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing. Tell me a little bit about this Dream Big Academy.
So the Dream Big Academy is actually another, I love curriculums. I'm an educator.
Right. Yeah, you can't help it, right? It's just in you.
But the nice thing about it is that in all my programs, writing is used as a tool.
Right.
So in the Dream Big Academy, writing is used as a tool. So there are three main programs under the Dream Big Academy. The first one is called the I Am Leadership Academy. And so the I Am Leadership Academy is centered around the theme I Am. It's a self-discovery, I didn't bring the book, but it's a self-discovery program where the students get the chance to reflect on who they are.
You know how big that is? Youth don't know who they are. They don't know who they are.
So in one of the programs I'm working on right now, well, it's not only one, because many of the programs and asking the questions who you are, I go through an I Am challenge. And it's really working from the core with them. And I asked a couple of them, who are you? And so a lot of the middle schoolers will tell me their new word is I am mean. Because it's okay for them to people are just in their way and just in their spaces. So being mean is something great.
Oh, I see.
Another one said to me, I am Hollywood.
What does that mean? Right. And they don't even know what that means. But they're trying to discover. I mean, I was too. We all were, right? You try to discover who it is you are.
And when they're trying to develop their identity, that's the stages they're going through.
Yeah.
And so by doing that program right now, really helps to build their inner core. Because what happens now, there's so much coming from the outside with social media, with everything else. That's when we're talking about anxiety, then we're talking about depression, then we talk about suicide.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be proactive right now to really help them develop an inner sense of self.
Right.
So that's phase one. The phase two is then it's always good to connect with something greater than yourself. So I take them on an exploration. Let's identify a social justice issue that they could think about.
Wow. Wow.
And let's do some research. And in doing the research, they're able to then write a paper about something whereby they can make a difference. Wow. And we're going to be compiling all of these reflections, and then we put it into a book. So that's what we did. I did that at the Y last year.
This is greatness. And can this book be picked up at like an Amazon or something like that?
Yes,
or?
it can. Yes,
Okay.
it can.
Okay.
Yes, but it's really important for them to really understand
Wow.
who they are. And so eventually, based on the length of the programming, we can even move into a stage of implementation. But it all depends on the respective programs. So I'm available now to go into different schools, to go into different programs,
Wow.
and and really help, and when we look at social and emotional wellness, really helping our students as they achieve academically, creating that balance. So I am really a partner in for schools and different types of programs.
Wow, you're a busy woman. They need 3 of you, 4 of you. One is not enough, because this is a big
Yes.
to do. This is a big
Yes.
undertaking. Youth nowadays are being attacked on, like you said, in so many different areas, and it's extremely, extremely hard for them to know exactly who they are right now, and so they're very impressionable, and so
Yes.
people are telling them who they are.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. Yes.
and that's quite sad. And
Yes.
we can't catch them all, but I'm glad that you're trying to catch
Yes.
some, and that's important.
Yes.
You know.
And so by doing that, hopefully by the time they become adults, that their story, what I try to tell them is that we do a number line activity. On the number line activity, many of them are 14. Let's talk about the highs and lows of some of the things that you have. Now, at the age of 14, we don't put a period at where you are right now. We put a comma, because right now you're the narrator of your story.
Right. Wow.
And as a narrator of your story, you could design the rest of your life. But not only design it, but I also teach them exactly how to navigate around giants. No one taught us how to navigate around giants in our lives.
Where were you when I was growing up?
So by letting them
that's
understand
amazing.
that when
Yeah.
something happens, you don't fall into a porthole and die.
Right. Right.
So it's bringing that information out there and really letting them know that there's greatness inside of you.
Yeah.
And what happens even with the adults, what I tell them is that your rate of moving through a problem over and over again is going to be faster,
Right. Right. Right.
because
Right.
they're gonna come.
Right.
But you're able to move to bounce
through
back at a faster rate.
That is very true.
So spreading that message out to our young people right now and letting them know that it comes from inside. Let those
Right.
gifts shine. Let them ooze.
Right. But it's so great that you're not using the platform of being famous or TV or shows and stuff, but you're like, what's a social justice
Yes.
issue that you know how vital that is, because most kids don't even know what's happening in our social justice issues, so that's so impactful. And then I'm like reading back here that this is a compilation of poems and affirmations and short stories, and I'm like, wow, that must make them feel so amazing to look at this. And yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
You should
Jackie.
see their faces and expressions.
I can imagine what a feeling this must be for them. Just to write a poem, write a story, and have it in print.
Yes.
I mean, that just does something.
So it
to
takes,
you.
I like the way I market it, it takes student leadership to the next level.
Yeah.
And self-confidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes while they're going through those exercises, they're like, oh, why am I doing this?
Yeah, of course.
But in the end, I always pray that, some of those seeds will actually go in and germinate.
Yeah.
And at the right time, they will flourish.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. God, I mean, you're doing so much better work, if I can say that, than you just going for the goal of being the president of an institution. But to do what you're doing is so more impactful, and you're able, because it's your baby.
Yeah.
You're able to now create it and help
Yeah.
people flourish in different ways. And and a lot of institutions would stop you from doing stuff like that, like some of the stuff you're doing with the healing process and all of that.
Yes,
They put a little bit of a kibosh on stuff like that, but you're free now to do that.
Yes. It's amazing how God
Yeah,
takes you
it is.
on a journey. And I'm
A better one.
I'm a creative soul, so I have
Right.
that creativity where even designing and all that. That's it's an ability to put my creativity and healing and
education
and everything, yes,
together.
I couldn't ask for
It's
more.
so good. So good.
I mean, it's when you talk about my story, it's still
Yeah.
unfolding. I actually sat home 2 weekends ago and I said, oh my God, because right now I'm really marketing to schools and programs. And then, we are having conversations and I'm like, oh my God, my little workshop.
Yeah.
It's just about to grow.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not so little, huh? It's not going to stay little. And because I know that you called this a movement, right?
Yes.
You said that this is the I Am My Story movement.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're, please correct me if I'm wrong. So what you're saying is that you want to really make this something that impacts many people. That's why you're calling it a movement,
I want people to awaken.
Yeah, yeah.
Awaken to their calling in life. Awaken to healing. Awaken to there's more than awaken to the next level. Awaken to a cause greater than themselves.
Yeah, to live beyond their trauma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So that's where the healing. So I'm not asking everybody to write or publish.
Right, of course.
So it's bigger than that. It's a matter of we all have a story.
Right.
And understand too, like as we talked about the transformative framework, understand that it's connected to your assignment. It's connected to your mission.
Right.
Somehow, somewhere.
Yeah.
That's your why.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so good, woman. That's so good.
All
right. And I know that I know we talked a little bit about this, but I do still want to dive into your books a little bit. So I know the first one was Soaring into Greatness, which is this one right here.
Yes.
Soaring into Greatness. Pick this up.
So let me tell you the story behind that. So I wrote my very first book, The Purpose Factor. And then the Spirit said to me, why don't you ask other people to write? I said, me? I could barely spell.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Why am I going to ask other people to write? And so I was very disobedient. I didn't listen to the Spirit. That was November. And that voice came back in February. Why don't you talk to people about writing their stories?
Right.
And so I spoke on that very first day. I was at an event and I spoke to about 5 people. And the feedback I got was like, oh, wow. There are people out there who are waiting to share their stories.
Right.
And it just exploded.
Right. That's so good. So Soaring to Greatness was the first one of that, right? It's 15 stories of individuals who are incorporating the principles of the call of the greatness model, right? Self, love, spirit,
That's
and
the 4 principles we
as they live the life of purpose.
So that also tells you my growth. At that time, I was only focusing on the 4 principles.
Right.
So the second one
is the power of the valley.
So that's when I started talking about impact and all those stages.
Okay. It's because you're growing, woman.
Yes.
You're growing. This is the second one. This is the power of the valley, and also you can pick this one up. And it's is this 15 people as well, or?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yep, 15 people as well. And this is soaring into greatness. Delve into dynamic collective work which inspire you to continue to soar into greatness. And so this is the power of the valley.
Because what I realized too is that, yes, I could tell people to soar into greatness, but a lot of people are still in the valley. So how do I get them out of the valley?
Right.
So I really went through a process of understanding what is the valley.
Right.
And really start breaking that down to the different components of transformation.
Right. Wow. So that's wonderful. And then the third one that came out of all of this was
I Am My Story.
This is recent.
Yes. So with the I Am My Story, I realized that, you know what? A lot of us get identified by one puzzle piece of our life.
Right.
And understand that we need to get back and put all our puzzle pieces together and know that we are God's work of art.
Right.
So we just get stuck into, oh, this trauma happened. Look at you as a collective whole.
I know.
And once you understand that you're a collective whole and you're God's work of art,
right.
It's limitless.
Yeah, and you have survived longer than the trauma happened, right? And sometimes we forget that. The trauma feels yesterday all the time if you don't deal with it, And I love this because it says, I Am My Stories, our voices in a compilation of now 22 stories of women who have pushed through the pain and trauma of their lives to soar into greatness. These women are no longer being defined by the fragments of their stories, but as a complete masterpiece of God's work of art.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's
Yes,
really great.
yes, yes.
And you know, it's you just feel like you connect to so many people when
Yes.
you read people's stories
Yes,
like
yes,
that.
yes.
They must feel also very connected.
Powerful,
'Cause
powerful.
so many stories coming together like that is a
Yes.
powerful,
Yes,
powerful thing.
yes.
And then of course you have The Greatness Within You, which is a youth book.
Yes, so I use that as part of the curriculum for the Youth Academy. But I wanted to mention to you in March 28th, I'm coming up with another compilation.
Oh,
It's called
wonderful.
Triumph, Our Cancer Journey.
Yes.
So I'm
I want
actually
to talk about
yes.
that.
So I'm actually working with several individuals who've gone through or been exposed to cancer, whether as a taking care of someone who's going through cancer or directly being affected by cancer. And so I'm compiling their stories right now and just giving them a voice.
Yeah. Wow.
And create an inspiration where anyone who's going through can be healed just by reading and be inspired through their stories.
That's impactful. I had a woman on this show named Joni Buttman, and Joni Buttman had abdominal cancer or intestinal cancer, and she's actually a writer as well. She doesn't call herself that. She says she just writes short stories,
Correct.
believe it or not.
Nice.
And she writes these short stories, and some of them are about cancer, some of them are about laundry, some of them are about whatever.
Nice.
But I just remember the cancer story was very impactful, right? Because right now, we almost all know someone
Yes.
who's either going through
Almost
cancer
one out
or
of
they
four.
themselves. I'm
Yes,
sorry?
almost 1 out of 4 individuals around you.
It's really
It's
scary.
home. It's hitting home.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I remember when I was younger, you would hear somebody have cancer. It was so rare. Now it's not so rare.
No.
I feel like almost everyone I can bump into can have
Yeah,
cancer
yeah.
of some sort. So Triumph Our Cancer Journey.
Yes.
And are you helping them through healing in that trauma as well?
No,
or
no.
This
So
okay.
this is so I've partnered with Gardener's House.
Gardener's House.
So
okay.
Gardener's House is an organization in Hartford, Connecticut that really helps individuals, helps them economically if they're going through any financial hardship
Okay.
in terms of connecting them to resources, or may even be giving them some financial assistance in terms of maybe paying their bills, paying rent, utilities, and all those other things that may happen if that person is no longer working due to the
Okay.
cancer.
Okay. So it's due to the cancer. Got
Yes.
it.
So I'm actually working with her and also featuring her organization as well. And also the books will be also a fundraiser for her as well.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a very that must be a little bit of a harder journey, I would think, right? Because helping people with trauma is hard enough, right? But are these people that are going through these cancer journey, are they in the journey right now, or are
Combination.
these people? Oh, it's a combination.
Yes, a
So it's
combination.
people who are actually going through it and
Some
people who
are.
have come out of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Some are. So it's all over. You know.
Okay.
So with this journey, I'm more collecting stories. So it's
Yeah.
a different journey for me as well.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to be honoring them during Women's History Month as
That's
well.
awesome.
So I am in the midst of everything else.
Yeah, because you have time. You have time.
Yes. Listen, God is going to provide.
Oh my gosh! And so I also read that you, in addition, you have participated in 3 book compilations.
Yes.
Stand Up and Be Heard, Queen Boss Rise.
So I'm actually in that as well. Yes.
Yes, and then and Women Across Borders.
Yes.
And so what is that one there? Wounded Warrior.
So that's an individual author.
Oh, okay.
That's
'cause
an individual
'cause you
author.
help somebody also with
Yes.
writing their own
Yes,
book, their
as
own
well.
story.
Yes, yes.
Now, when you do this, is this somebody coming to you and saying, "Listen, I have a story, publish it," or is it the same journey?
So we also did almost a 10-month journey with
oh,
her.
okay. So you did a journey as
So
well.
the way it works
Wow.
is that, so yes, so the way this works is that, so this one she has an idea, and what I'm able to do is that the first stage of the process, so if you're interested in writing your book, we do a story mapping session.
Okay.
And so what I'm able
okay.
to do is to listen to your stories, and I'm able to pick out themes. So we have a conversation, I'm pulling out your themes and looking
Okay.
at, and then based on that theme, I'm able to help you develop the outline of your book.
Okay.
And in developing your outline of your book, then we develop a roadmap. When do you want your book done? The first, second, third, fourth, 5, these are your chapters. And then the next stage is that we meet once a month. And when we meet once a month, you have an assignment to write maybe 2 chapters. We come back, we discuss it, but then we talk about the next 2 chapters you're going to write.
Okay,
And so
wow.
I take you through
It's a great
whether
process.
it's through a 10-month process
Yeah.
or based on how long you want to write.
Yeah, and writing is a challenge. It can be a challenge because you get a lot of blocks. You know, like when some things.
So that's where the
become
life coaching
hard.
comes in.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I love what you're doing.
Yes.
I wrote my own autobiography and I did it by myself, and I muddled through it. But I remember having to take breaks in between the chapters that were really hard, you know. And so I'm just thinking the advantage and the wonderful advantage that people have to go to your academy, because it is something that they can heal through the process.
and
you
talk.
know, yeah, and right, and actually get, like you said, that roadmap, that framework.
Yes.
When sometimes writing on your own can be very difficult.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a very big advantage to what you do.
And sometimes they may not have completed the assignment, but I said, that's okay. Let's still talk.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because life happens.
Yeah.
And I'm able to push them through.
Yeah.
Because with this author, it was hard starting. You know, the couple of months we would meet, and it just wasn't clicking. And then
she took off.
yes.
That's wonderful. I mean,
Yes.
it looks like a really good read too.
Yes,
I mean,
It is.
the first sentence is, today I stand as a survivor of abuse, control, manipulation, and pure evil from the enemy himself.
Powerful.
Powerful.
She did
Sounds
excellent.
powerful. Wounded warrior, a
Yes.
survivor's guide.
Yes.
All right. So, so I saw that, and you talked a little bit about more than just writing, right? So more than individuals with these life changers. I saw that on top of writing and publishing the book and documenting their story, you also help them with like audio and video, developing photo collages, all of that stuff. It was on your website.
Oh.
So do you help them like with other things to express themselves?
So that's another avenue that we're exploring right now.
Okay.
It's all around legacy.
Oh, okay.
And it's a passion project for my husband. And I just need to give it some more time. But we really want to start helping individuals record their stories.
Okay.
Grandmothers, aunts, people who are dying. Let's document their stories.
Right.
So that's another phase that
Okay.
we want to actually go into and really help people document legacy so that they can pass on to their family and friends.
Wow, that's amazing. I wish you well with that.
Yes.
That's not easy, but I think it'll be very, very impactful because people
Yes.
are visual.
Yes.
You know, very visual now. I'm seeing that people are more listening to audiobooks than they are reading, and although reading is fun, and I actually like holding books in my hand. Like, I know there's Kindle.
I'm the reverse. I like to listen.
Yeah, so I like to listen too, but if I have to read, I want to read a page. I think it's the old school in me. You know, sometimes the Kindle is a little hard to read,
Right.
but this I find to be so much better. So, so that's great that you're developing that, and I love that we touched on, you know, your girls project, your youth
Yes.
project.
So the Girls Project
yeah.
is actually going to be launched in end of the school year, May. So
Okay.
they're actually going to take a collection of everything they're working on and compile it as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
as
that sounds
well.
exciting. And so the very last thing I want to start touching on with you a little bit is the center, the actual
Yes.
brick and mortar. I know that it's actually at a specific location
In Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's
yes.
not, you know,
yes.
we are in Connecticut. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
So the vision for the center is a lot of my life coaching is going to be happening there. So it's creating a place where residents or individuals in the greater Hartford area or anywhere can come in and actually do one-on-one coaching with me.
Okay.
I'm also will also have counselors as well, counselors in there as well, doing therapy.
That's wonderful.
So that's the vision, and then phase 2 of that is actually developing it into a youth development center.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes. So
That's really great. Oh, that's fantastic. You have so much going on, Dr. Jackie. Goodness gracious. All right. So I think we've touched on a lot of things. I will definitely make sure that our audience sees all of the books that you have available.
Thank you.
And then can I give them some contact info?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you would like to contact Dr. Jackie for any of these amazing services that they provide, you can email her at Jackie Phillips.
Dr. Jackie.
Oh, Dr. Jackie. I'm sorry, you're
Yeah.
right. Doctor, of course you're right. It's your email. It's Jackie at drjackiephillips.com. Also on her website, drjackiephillips.com.
Beautiful.
And you can call the office at 860 246-2323, right?
Beautiful, yes.
Jackie, thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure.
It is
Thank
such
you
a
for the
pleasure having you here.
opportunity.
You are so fun. So thank you, and thank you for sharing your giftings with us.
Thank
really,
you.
I really wish you the best in this.
Thank you,
'Cause,
thank you.
I think anybody who goes to your academy is going to be blessed. So thank you, Dr. Jackie. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
It's such a pleasure. And thank you for answering the email. I didn't know you were going to answer. I'm so glad you did. I'm glad you did. Because you probably get 1,000 people, I think. So
Amen.
I appreciate
Let's call
it.
it into existence.
Yes. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this is Nina Perez at Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Straight Talk, No Sugar Added, and also our web and our blog and all the great stuff that's out there. Find me, click it, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. This is Nina Perez. Until next time. Hello, this is Nina Perez at Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. I wanted to take a second to let you know what exciting things are coming your way. We have so many amazing people coming onto this show to talk about real life topics to hopefully challenge and transform your thinking, to give you tools and resources, to give you everything that we can offer here in Connecticut and in the greater tri-state area. So I hope that you are a straight talker. Go on to YouTube. You can go on to straighttalknosugaradded.com. You can find us on Facebook. If you know someone who you think will be really interesting and somebody who can bring some tools and tips and challenge our thinking, reach me at hello@straighttalknosugaradded.com. We are here to stay. We are here to bring you amazing information. So make sure that you reach out. This is Nina Perez at Straight Talk No Sugar Added. Until next time.